Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, Mostly Paper Crafts. Today I am so excited to show you the new My Monthly Hero kit from Hero Arts. This is the April kit and it has a geometric theme. And I'm a geometry teacher. I absolutely love the stencils and stamps. So I'm going to show you the kit, then I'm going to make some stuff with it, and I'll show you that too. We'll take a look at the stamp set first. My favorite part about this is that the stamps are all solid. And as much as I love coloring, there's no coloring after you do these stamps. I mean, you could color directly onto the stamps, but you can do them in a solid color, whether black or any color that you like, or even an ombre. They're gonna look great, but you don't have to color anything here. And these sentiments are so versatile. I mean, happy birthday, we need that all the time. Hello, I'm grateful for you, thank you. There's so many things that we can use in so many cards. I'm very excited about the sentiments here. And these cute images. We have a bunny, a cat and a dog, a fox, a bird with an egg, a tree, a fish, butterfly, dragonfly, bunch of flowers, and a small heart and some stars. So lots of great stamps here. Again, I'm excited that I won't have to color, and I love coloring, don't get me wrong, it's just a little time consuming. We also get the coordinating dies for this, which I'll be cutting apart using my wire snips. And then for these kits, I just take the cut pieces and put them into a Ziploc bag and keep it with my kit. I used to put them on a magnetic sheet, but now it just seems, especially for a kit this size, just to put them in the baggie, I can easily sort through them and find the one that I need. We also have some awesome stencils, which can be combined in so many ways. You can combine a stencil with itself just by rotating it or by flipping it over. So you can combine or just do one layer. Same thing with this awesome one. This one has quarter circles and a neat pattern. You can use it this way or flip it over. And then finally, we have all of these stripes. And again, whenever I turn the stencil, it's giving me a different pattern. So just using one of these stencils, there's so many different possibilities, but having all three and being able to combine them together, I mean, the possibilities are limitless. You can use the same color, you can use the same color family, you can use different colors, contrasting colors, you can use complementary. I mean, there's just so many looks that you could get using these three stencils. So I'm super excited about those. And they included a blending brush. This brush feels nice and full, has good weight to it, and I was impressed by the swivel on the head. My other blending brushes don't do that. So a nice blending brush, and then 3 ink cubes, grape juice, raspberry jam, and tangerine. Now, I've been subscribing to the My Monthly Hero kits for almost 2 years, and I wanted to show you. These are all of the ink cubes that I've gotten just in those kits, and these 3 inks are not inks that I already had. So super exciting. I love the way that they pick the supplies that they're going to send out to us. They know a lot of us have been subscribing for a long time, so there's no repeats here. Just keep adding to my awesome collection of Hero Arts inks. Usually the first thing I do when I get these kits is play with the stamps, but I really wanted to play with the stencils. So I got out my Speedball gel plate and I did some printing. I used a few different colors from Dylusions. They're acrylic paints, I'll show you those in a second. And then just a cheap black craft paint. That's what I had on hand. I wanted some black in there. So these are the paints that I used. And the stripy stencil seems to be the most prominent, but I did use all of the stencils, and there are many layers on these 8 pages. The next step was trimming the panels down into usable pieces. So these are all 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I really liked this one. It was my favorite. So I kept it as large as possible and then cut it in half so I can use it on 2 cards. And then this one I left at 6 inches long because I didn't want to cut it down anymore. And I think I'm just gonna make an oversized card with that one. I did some inking on the next 3 panels. This one I kept really simple. This is just 1 layer using the Black Soot Distress Oxide ink. I wanted to keep it simple because compared to all of these, I thought maybe I needed something a little bit quieter. This one here in the middle, I used my foam dauber and some glycerin to do my first layer through the stencil, put clear embossing powder on that and heat embossed it. Then I went over with a light layer of tangerine ink and then used the stencil one more time with the grape juice ink. And this last one, this is 2 layers. The first layer is Black Soot Distress Oxide ink. The second layer is the same, but I did not re-ink my brush. I just used what was left over on the stencil. My 10 cards are all finished and I'm excited to show you what I made. We'll start with this one that has the heat embossed layer in the background. I wanted to keep this simple since the background was so pretty. So hello is heat embossed and this die cut circle is popped up on some foam squares, and then I put it on a colored card base for a little extra fun. My second card is also on a colored card base. I stamped and die cut the trees, and I used this ink pad that was from a My Monthly Hero kit from last year, I think maybe January. And I did these in reverse order just for a little bit of color variation there. The thank you sentiment is heat embossed, and I matted that with a black rectangle just to make that stand out a little bit more. For my next card, this is one of the backgrounds that I used my gel plate for, and I have 3 dragonflies. Thank you is heat embossed. Other than that, this card is pretty simple, but again, the background has so much detail, I really didn't want to take away from that. That's actually kind of the theme with all of these cards. I spend so much time on the backgrounds, I really didn't want to do too much in the front. The sentiment, I'm glad you're in my circle, was begging to be on a die cut circle. I used a big circle hole punch actually to cut that out, and I did several layers of it to give it some dimension. So this is not popped up on foam squares, it's just several layers of that punched out circle. And this is on a black frame and a white card base. For my next card, I brought in an old My Monthly Hero kit. This is from February of 2020. I used the birthday cake die. This is that kit, and here's the die that I used. I did put this on several layers. This is a red vellum, and then there's a layer of black cardstock behind it. I thought it mimicked the sentiment nicely. With the font, it has this outline. I thought it looked kind of nice like that. And I matted that on a black frame. For my next card, this one is a unique size. I cut it down after I made my little scene to what I thought framed out the picture. I miss having you around is heat embossed, and a couple of our little critters are popped up on foam squares. Since this card base is black, I did put a white insert inside, so there's a place to write a message. My next card is my interactive card for this series. So I put my butterfly die cut back to back, and I put it on a clear cord here so that when the recipient opens it, it will spin, and all you have to do is wind it up. You can mail it just like that, and then when you open it, it does a nice little spin. To create this card, I did have to punch through the card base. I lined it up so that the circle that I cut from this gel plate panel would be in the background. You Amaze Me is on a die cut rectangle. I did several layers here to give that a little bit of dimension as well. For my next card, this one I thought was fun. I had all of these extra stamped and cut out images, and I was wondering what I was going to do with them all. So I took this die from an old set and I did a second cut on a piece of white paper so that I could have a template of where all of my images need to be. And I just had fun cutting up my die cut images and arranging them in sort of a little puzzle here. Kind of fun to look through. with the sentiment, "You're a solid friend" on the inside. That die is from the September 2019 kit. This was the Cabinet of Curiosities. So this die right here has all of those fun peekaboo windows. I have 2 more cards. The next one has just 3 colored fish stamps. I used this ink pad. It's a Reactive Ombre Winter Sky from a former My Monthly Hero kit. I used that for my fish here. And again, keeping it pretty simple. There's a lot already going on in the background, and I put this onto a dark purple card base. I spent a lot of time creating those backgrounds with my gel plate, and I had a lot of scraps left over. So I took all of the scraps, lined them up, cut them out, and created this long, sort of slimline card. It's a custom size. I was trying to decide how I wanted my sentiment, and I got this idea that maybe I should stamp it and tear it out, and that would kind of match this distressed background, and I am really pleased with how that came out. So we've got this nice big card. I'm so grateful for you. Showcases a bunch of those scraps that were left over from my gel plate printing. Here's another look at the 10 cards I created using the April 2021 My Monthly Hero kit. It was a lot of fun to play around with those stencils and create these backgrounds, especially the ones that I made using my gel plate. Really fun images to play around with. I hope that you enjoyed this video and got some inspiration for some cards you can make yourself. Whether or not you have this kit, there's definitely techniques in here that you could apply with whatever supplies you already have. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another My Monthly Hero Kit video next month, but in between now and then, I'm sure I'll be creating some other cards using other kits and other challenges I come up with. I have tons of supplies that are begging to be used, and I'd love to inspire you to use your stash too. Until next time, go make something beautiful.